Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah, deep dive.
So today we're going to be talking about three people who really changed the world with their creativity. We're going to be talking about Leonardo da Vinci,
Of course.
Frida Kahlo,
Yes.
and William Shakespeare.
Big names.
Huge.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about what made them revolutionaries.
Yeah, beyond the surface level, I think everyone knows these names.
Exactly. It's more than just like the
Right.
Mona Lisa or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
So let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay.
Okay, so I think most people, when they think of Leonardo da Vinci, think of a painter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was so much more than that.
Oh, absolutely.
He was an inventor, an engineer.
Scientist.
A
botanist.
Yeah, botanist.
Yeah, he was the original Renaissance man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's a term, by the way, for those who maybe aren't familiar.
Oh yeah, explain that.
It basically means someone who's really good at a bunch of different things.
Right.
Like, they don't just specialize in one thing.
Yeah, they're good at everything.
They're kind of a jack of all trades, master of all, too, in a way.
Right, and it's not even just that they're good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's that they see the connection between the things.
That's what I was going to say. It's not just about being like good at painting and then also good at, building a bridge. It's about seeing how those two...
They inform each other.
Yes, inform each other, yeah. Like, for example...
And you see that a lot with Da Vinci.
For sure.
In his anatomical drawings.
Absolutely. And I think we've all seen those, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're so iconic.
Yeah.
But these drawings, they weren't just for art. They were actually based on real dissections that he did.
Whoa.
He would dissect bodies. Yeah, to understand human anatomy better.
To understand, like, how we work.
Yeah, how we work, how the muscles and the tendons and all that stuff, how it all fits together.
And that makes sense because, I mean, the human body is such a complex...
Oh, incredibly complex. Yeah. So he was basically like a biomedical engineer.
Centuries before.
Yeah.
Centuries before that was even a thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So he was dissecting bodies to make his art more realistic, but also to...
Well, yeah, I mean, it was all connected for him.
Yeah.
Like, take his designs for flying machines.
Oh, yeah.
For example, he was obsessed with flight.
Yeah.
And he realized to really, like, crack the code of flight, you had to understand not just, the mechanics of bird wings.
Right, the aerodynamics.
Yeah, the aerodynamics, but also how the human body would actually interact with such a machine.
Like, how are you going to control it?
Exactly, how are you going to control it? Yeah. So it was all very interconnected for him.
It's incredible. Yeah, so it's like his brain was wired to see
patterns,
that other people just missed.
Possibilities that no one else was even considering.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a key takeaway here.
Yeah.
Da Vinci's legacy isn't just about what he created,
right,
but how he created it, that interconnected way of thinking.
Yeah, blending, like art, science.
Art, science, engineering.
Yeah.
It's hugely relevant today.
Absolutely.
More so than ever, I think.
Right. And, okay, so if Da Vinci was all about blending disciplines, like you said, Frida Kahlo was a master of, like, turning pain into power.
Oh, yeah. And that's such a powerful way to put it.
Right.
Yeah, because her life, she had polio as a child.
Right.
And then, I mean, that alone was a huge challenge, but then she survived this horrific bus accident at 18.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which left her with chronic pain and health issues.
It really messed her up, yeah.
Yeah, for the rest of her life. But instead of letting that define her, she turned it into art. Yeah. Like a source of inspiration almost.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And her self-portraits are so, like...
intense. They're
raw.
Yeah.
It's like...
raw is a good word for it.
She's inviting you to experience the pain.
Yeah.
The struggles.
The strength, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about the pain, it's about how she, like, transcended that pain.
And I think that's one of the things that draws people to Frida Kahlo, is that she was so...
open, vulnerable,
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that comes through so clearly in her self-portraits.
And also the way she blended, like, the realism with elements of surrealism.
Right, because surrealism, for those who maybe need a little refresher, it's...
yeah, explain that.
It's that kind of dreamlike imagery.
Yeah.
Exploring the subconscious.
Right, so it's not just like a photograph.
Exactly.
It's got this deeper meaning.
Yeah, and a great example of that is...
oh, yeah, what is it?
The two Fridas.
Where she paints two versions of herself connected by a shared artery.
I love that painting.
It's just so powerful.
It's like so symbolic.
Yeah, it's open to so many different interpretations.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's so personal.
Right, exactly.
Like, you get the sense that she's really sharing something.
Sharing a piece of herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what makes Kahlo so compelling, you know?
Yeah.
She wasn't afraid to expose her vulnerabilities, her, physical and emotional scars.
Right.
And in doing so, she created art that resonates with anyone who's ever felt pain or isolation or the need to fight for their own identity.
And that's why she's become such an icon, especially for women and marginalized communities.
Absolutely, yeah.
But let's switch gears now and talk about a different kind of creative giant.
Yeah.
William Shakespeare.
The Bard.
The Bard himself, yeah. Arguably the most famous playwright
of all time. Yeah, I mean, his impact is undeniable.
It really is.
Yeah, like you can't talk about language, literature, theater without talking about Shakespeare.
Right, I mean, he's been translated into, like, every language.
Yeah, and performed everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's truly fascinating is how his work, which was written over 400 years ago,
I know, right?
Still manages to feel so relevant today.
It's weird.
Like, why do we still care about the loves and losses of Romeo and Juliet?
Right.
Or, the political machinations of Macbeth.
Or Hamlet,
Yeah, it's not like we're all running around
wearing tights
and speaking in iambic pentameter.
Right, so what's the secret sauce?
Yeah, what makes Shakespeare so timeless?
What makes him so, like, relatable, even after all that time?
Well, I think one key factor is his understanding of human nature.
Yeah.
Like, Shakespeare's characters, whether they're kings or commoners, lovers or villains, they're driven by these emotions and desires that we could all relate to.
Right.
Ambition, jealousy, love, revenge. Primal stuff. Yeah.
He gets to the core of what it means to be human.
Exactly. And he does it with this language.
Yeah, his language is amazing.
That's both beautiful and incredibly precise.
Yeah. I mean, think about Hamlet.
Right.
To be or not to be.
Such a simple line.
Yeah.
But it encapsulates, like, an entire existential crisis.
Right. It's a question that humans have been grappling with.
For centuries.
Forever.
Yeah. And he just boils it down.
To 5 words.
To 5 words.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's not just the big philosophical questions either. He also had this amazing ability to capture, like, the nuances of
everyday speech. How people actually talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he even invented new words and phrases that we still use today.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like, eyeball, fashionable, heartbreak.
I never knew that.
All thanks to Shakespeare.
Wow, that's wild.
But beyond the language, it's the stories themselves that continue to captivate us.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Da Vinci, the master of blending art and science. Kahlo, who turned pain into power.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare, the poet of the human condition.
It's almost too much genius for one deep dive.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
But there are some fascinating connections between seemingly disparate figures.
Yeah, because they each, in their own way, push the boundaries of what was considered acceptable, both in their art and in their lives.
Right. They were rebels.
Yeah, revolutionaries
who
challenged norms and kind of paved the way for everyone who came after them.
Yeah, they really did. They set the stage for so much of what we consider modern art and literature and thought even.
And it's interesting to think about how their work
continues to influence us today.
It really does, and that's something we'll definitely be digging into more the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah. But before we move on to that, I want to leave you with this question.
All right.
What's one artistic or creative boundary that you would like to break?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Think about that. And we'll pick up on this thought in part 2.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'm excited to hear what people come up with.
Me too. All right, see you next time.
See you then. Welcome back to the deep dive. Did you give any thought to what boundaries you'd like to break?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a whole list going now. But it also makes me think about, those 3 that we're talking about, Da Vinci, Kahlo, Shakespeare.
Yeah.
They've reached this level of fame that's almost mythical.
It's true.
Yeah. What is it about their work that makes it resonate with people across centuries.
Across cultures and time. It's the million-dollar question.
It really is.
Why do we still care about these artists?
Right. And I think part of it has to be that they tapped into something universal.
Right, like these fundamental aspects of
human experience.
It's a human experience.
With Da Vinci, you know?
Yeah.
His anatomical drawings, it wasn't just about being accurate, but it was about understanding the essence.
The essence of the human form.
Yeah, like Vitruvian Man. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows that image.
Right.
It's like the symbol of...
It's a symbol of human potential, right?
Yeah, like we can achieve this perfect harmony.
Exactly. That we can achieve perfect harmony between mind, body, and spirit.
And, I mean, that was kind of the whole idea.
The core of the Renaissance, really.
Yeah.
Which Da Vinci embodies perfectly.
Yeah, totally.
But then you think about his notebooks, right?
Oh, yeah. Full of inventions.
All of these crazy inventions.
Hundreds of years ahead of their time.
Way ahead of their time, like flying machines, submarines.
Didn't he draw a robot or something?
He did. He sketched out ideas for robots.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that he didn't just, imagine these things.
Right.
He tried to understand the scientific principles behind them.
He was trying to figure out how to actually build them.
Exactly. So he was combining like artistic vision with a really deep curiosity.
Right. He wasn't just like a dreamer.
No, he was a doer too.
Yeah, he was like a one-man research and development lab.
Totally. A one-man R&D department.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, Frida Kahlo.
Oh, let's talk about Frida.
Her life was tough.
Full of pain and struggle.
Yeah, but she turned it into this incredibly powerful art.
She really did. And I think what's so remarkable is that she didn't shy away from depicting her pain.
Yeah.
Her physical and emotional scars.
Right.
She made them central to her work.
Like the broken column. That painting is...
Oh, yeah. That's a powerful one.
Intense.
It really shows her body, like literally fractured, held together by the surgical corset.
Yeah.
It's a powerful image of vulnerability, but also resilience.
Yeah, like she's not hiding the pain.
No.
She's confronting it.
She's confronting it head on. And I think that's why so many people connect with her work.
It's so relatable.
It's so relatable.
We all go through tough times.
Right. Pain, heartbreak, loss.
Yeah.
Kahlo shows us that it's okay.
Yeah.
To acknowledge those feelings, to express them, to even find beauty in them.
And her art is so raw, so honest. It's like she's inviting us in.
Right into her innermost thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, and the way she uses color.
Oh, yeah.
And blends, like surrealism with Mexican folk art.
She creates a visual language that's just instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
And she wasn't afraid to experiment. To break the rules.
Yeah, to push the boundaries.
Which is part of what makes her such a feminist icon, right?
Absolutely.
She challenged all these norms about beauty and femininity.
Yeah, and she paved the way for other artists to be themselves.
To express themselves authentically.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Da Vinci, the master of observation and invention.
Yes.
Kahlo, the queen of raw emotion and self-expression.
The queen.
And then we have Shakespeare.
Ah, Shakespeare.
Exploring the depths of human experience.
Through language.
Yes.
His characters are so complex and flawed and real.
They are. I mean, they make bad decisions.
Oh yeah, they make terrible decisions.
They're just like us.
Right. But they grapple with these big questions that we still ask ourselves today.
Yeah, what is love?
What is the price of ambition?
Yeah, what does it mean to be human?
Exactly. And he explores those questions with language that is just so beautiful and so precise.
I mean, who else could come up with a line like,
oh, I know this one.
Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind.
Ah, that's from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
It's a good one. One of his comedies, but even in his darkest tragedies, like,
Hamlet, Macbeth.
Yeah. There's this poetic beauty to the language. Yeah.
That kind of elevates the character's struggles.
Yeah. It's almost transcendent.
It is, yeah.
It's like he could see right into the human soul.
He had this uncanny ability to understand human nature at its core.
And then translate that.
And put it into words that resonate across time.
And he wrote so much.
I know, right? Comedies, tragedies, histories, romances.
Like, he did it all.
He covered it all.
Yeah. And he created these characters that are just so memorable. So iconic. Romeo and Juliet.
Hamlet, Macbeth.
Lear,
These are names that everybody knows.
Even if they haven't read the plays.
Exactly.
They know the characters.
They know the stories.
Right.
That's the power of Shakespeare's storytelling.
He created characters that
transcend their fictional origins.
Right.
And become these, like, archetypes
Yeah.
of human experience.
It's wild. Okay, so we have these 3 creative giants, each one with their own, like, approach.
Your own unique approach and legacy. But what I find fascinating is how their influence goes beyond just...
Yeah, beyond their respective fields.
Yeah.
Like so true.
Da Vinci's emphasis on observation and experimentation, I mean, that's still...
huge for scientists and engineers today.
Yeah.
Like, think about biomedical engineering, 3D printing,
Right.
virtual reality. These all require a blend of
Artistic vision.
and scientific understanding.
That Da Vinci would love.
Oh, he would have been all over that.
Yeah.
And Kahlo's influence is everywhere, too.
Yeah, fashion, music.
Social justice movements.
Yeah.
Her image has become the symbol of
Strength.
resilience, self-acceptance.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And Shakespeare.
Wow.
His plays are still performed everywhere.
All over the world.
Constantly reinterpreted, adapted.
For new audiences,
Yeah.
his characters and themes still spark these conversations about love, power, morality, the human condition, you know.
Yeah, it's like they each planted a seed. And these seeds have grown into these massive trees.
That continue to bear fruit centuries later.
It's amazing.
It's a testament to the power of creativity, you know? It's not just about making pretty things, it's about changing the world.
Leaving something
behind that matters.
Yeah. So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with this question.
All right, hit me.
What can we learn from Da Vinci, Kahlo, and Shakespeare about the power of creativity to shape the world around us?
Ooh, that's a big one.
I know. We'll discuss that next time. It is a big one. But it's a good one to think about.
It is.
As we, wrap up our deep dive into these 3 amazing figures, what can we learn from them about, how creativity can actually
shape the world?
Yeah. It's almost like they each gave us a different tool.
Oh, I like that.
To the creative toolbox.
Yeah, the creative toolbox. That's a great analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Da Vinci, he gives us the tool of observation.
Right.
Of careful study. Experimentation.
Yeah, he reminds us that, like, innovation often comes from understanding how things work.
Right, like from taking them apart.
Yeah, from seeing the connections between things that might seem totally different.
Right, so put on your Da Vinci goggles.
Put on those goggles.
Look closely at the world.
Take it all in.
And don't be afraid to, take things apart.
Yeah, tinker.
Yeah.
See how it works?
Right. Maybe you'll invent the next flying machine.
You never know.
Who knows?
And then you have Kahlo.
Yeah.
Who gives us this tool of emotional honesty.
Right.
Of embracing vulnerability.
Yeah, like your flaws,
Yeah, and turning that pain into power.
Yeah.
Which is such a powerful lesson.
It is. So channel your inner Frida.
Channel your inner Frida, yeah.
Grab a paintbrush, grab a pen, grab a microphone.
Whatever your tool of choice is.
Yeah. And just express yourself authentically.
Don't be afraid to show your scars.
Yeah, the things that make you unique.
Yeah, that's what makes your art interesting.
Exactly. And then, of course, we have Shakespeare.
The bard.
Who gives us this tool of language.
The power of language.
Yeah, of using words to explore the human experience.
To connect with people.
To tell stories that resonate.
Across time and cultures.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And he reminds us that the best stories, the ones that really stick with us, are often the ones that tap into those universal truths, right?
Yeah, the things that
we all share.
Connect us.
Love, loss, ambition, betrayal, the search for meaning.
Right. So find your inner bard. Craft your words carefully.
Yes.
Tell stories that matter.
It's so important.
And, it's amazing to think about how their legacy just keeps rippling outward.
It really does. It's like these ripples in a pond.
Yeah.
That just keep expanding.
And influencing us in ways that we may not even realize.
Right. Like, think about biomedical engineering.
Right.
3D printing, virtual reality.
I mean, these are all things that Da Vinci would have been fascinated by.
Oh, he would have been all over that because they require that blend of artistic vision and scientific understanding.
Yeah. And Kahlo's influence is everywhere, too.
Oh, absolutely. Fashion, music.
Social
justice movements, yeah. Her image has become so powerful.
A symbol of strength, resilience.
Self-acceptance.
And Shakespeare.
Shakespeare's everywhere, too.
His plays are performed all over the world.
Still.
Constantly reinterpreted, adapted.
His characters and themes are just as relevant today
as they were
hundreds of years ago.
It's crazy. It's like they each planted a seed, and those seeds have grown into these
incredible trees.
Incredible sprawling trees. They keep bearing fruit.
I love that image.
Yeah. And I think that's a testament to the power of creativity.
Absolutely. It's not just about making pretty things.
Right. It's about
changing the world.
Yeah.
It's about leaving something behind that matters.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Leonardo da Vinci, Frida Kahlo, and William Shakespeare.
3 giants.
I hope you're feeling inspired.
Yes.
To tap into your own
creative potential.
Yeah. Use the tools that they've given us.
Exactly.
To make your mark on the world.
Because their legacies remind us that creativity is not a luxury, it's a necessity.
It is.
It's how we make sense of the world.
Yeah.
How we connect with each other.
It's how we push humanity forward.
Beautifully said.
So on that note,
yes,
we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time,
keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep creating.
Create.
And keep those creative sparks flying.
Yes.
See you later.
Next time.